All right, here we move into our second set of triangles. Now we are talking about 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. This is the tricky one, so pay close attention. Now, 30, 60, 90 degree triangles will often only give you one of those three angles because the other two are automatic. Now here, this is always going to be my right angle, and remember the side we're always looking to start with is the side that is opposite the 30 degree angle. So the first thing you want to do, find where the 30 is. If it's listed, that's easy. If only the 60 is listed, then it's going to be the pointier one, basically. You are going to follow that. Across from that angle will be side A, and side A is what we base everything on. Okay? Now, the relationship between these three is that if your short side is a length A, meters or feet or whatever, then your hypotenuse is going to be twice that length. That is side B in this case, because it's across from angle B. And the adjacent leg, the leg that's attached via the 90 degree angle, is going to be A times the square root of 3. These are the tough ones. Now remember, if you are going from the short side to this side, you are going to multiply by whatever it is, by 2 or by the square root of 3. But if you are going from the long side back to the short side, you are going to divide by square root of 3 or by the 2. So short side to long side, multiply. Long side to shortest side, you're going to divide. And you always want to, if you're given either one of these, you always want to go back to this, even if it's not what the question is asking for initially, because this is going to be the easiest way to find the final answer. Now, most of these will have illustrations because they're kind of difficult to draw without a lot of practice. And we haven't had a ton of practice. It's most important that we just get the mechanics down. So, number 5 says, the arm of a steel crane is 62 feet long. When it is fully extended, the crane arm forms a 30-degree angle with a line parallel to the ground. How many feet above the ground is the top of the crane? Now, this is going to come into play at the very end of the question, okay? But here's the basics. This is 62 feet. This is my 30-degree angle. Now, if we match that with this one, remember we always want to start from the 30-degree angle. Across from that is going to be side A. Okay? And remember what I told you, when you have a 30, 60, 90, it's probably easiest to go ahead and label the sides with these patterns, and then you can go back and use the actual numbers to figure out what you need to do. So, this is my right angle. If I'm looking at this and matching up, it means that this is 2a, and it means that this is a square root of 3. Once we have that, we can look at what we actually need to find out. Turns out, it wants to know how many feet above the ground is the top of the crane. That's this. So we are trying to find A, but then there's this little piece right down here of 7 feet, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, we know this is 62 feet, and we're trying to go back towards the short side. So from the hypotenuse to the short side, we are going to divide. Okay? Anytime you're starting with a longer side and going to a shorter side, you're going to divide. So I'm going to take this 62, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. And I'm going to use a calculator to do that. 62 divided by the square root of 3 gives me 35.795. Okay? 35.795. Or 35.8. Okay? Or, oops, sorry, nope. We're dividing by 2. That's my mistake. 62 divided by 2 makes this way easier. I totally didn't even pay attention to that. We're dividing by 2. 62 divided by 2 is just 31. Way easier. So it is 31 feet, my mistake, here for length A. But there's also this 7 feet at the bottom, which we need to add, because the question is how many feet above the ground, and this platform here, or this base, is 7 feet above the ground, which means my answer is going to be 38 feet, because 31 plus 7 is 38, above ground. So, gotta be careful there. See, it's easy to make a mistake, because even I just did it. Number 6 says the body of a dump truck is raised to empty a load of sand. How high is the 14-foot body from the frame when it is tipped upward at 60-degree angle? So here we've got kind of a different question. It doesn't tell us how high the truck is off the ground, but it does say how high is the top of the frame when is the top from the frame, so it is just this distance from the top of the thing to the frame. And when it's tipped upward, it's 60 feet. It's telling us that this distance over here is 14 feet, the hypotenuse. This is 60 degrees here, which means that this one is 30, which means that this is side A, this is A square root of 3, and this one over here is 2A because it's the hypotenuse. All right? Now, for this question, we are trying to find this height right here. Okay? It says how high? That's this this vertical line right here. But in order to do that, we need to do two steps. We need to find from this side down to A, in which case we're going to take 14 and divide by 2, which gives us a 7 here. Okay? And then we're going to multiply times the square root of 3, so 7 square root of 3, to find the height. Now 7 times the square root of 3, we're going to put in the calculator. 7 square root of 3 equals 12.12 feet. This is the answer to the question, because it's asking for this side. All right. Last question in this section says, the point on the edge of a symmetrical canyon is 4,500 feet above a river that cuts through the canyon floor. The angle of depression from each side of the canyon to the canyon floor is 60 degrees. Find the length of the canyon wall from the edge to the river. So, first we're going to look, okay, this is 60 degrees, which means this is my 30, it means this is A. This is the hypotenuse, means this is 2A. This is the adjacent leg, which means that this is A square root of 3. Now, similar to this one, we don't want to jump from this side to this side. We are going to go step by step. First of all, we want to go from this value that we know to the short side. Okay? So that's going to be 4,500 divided by the square root of 3 will give us the value of A, this top part, or this short leg. So 4,500 divided by the square root of 3 gives me 2,598.08. So 2,598.08. And we're in feet. There's feet. Okay, so that's the value of A. To get from here to what we're looking for, which is the distance from the top of the canyon down to the base where the river cuts through, we're going to multiply by 2. So we're going to take this number and multiply by 2, which equals 2,598.08 times 2 is 5,196.16 feet. 5,196.16 feet. And this is going to be my answer. Now these questions are most likely going to be the toughest because, as you can see, it's very easy to make a simple mistake, and there's also multiple things to remember. But this is how you will work those problems. Let's take a look at the final ones that are a little bit easier to manage.